Chosen one, stop for a moment and breathe. Heaven is whispering something urgent, something final. This isn't another confirmation, it's the last instruction before the shift. You can feel it, can't you? The atmosphere has changed. The air feels charged, like something unseen is counting down. All month, God has been quiet, not absent, just measuring. He's been watching what you release, what you repeat, and what you refuse to carry into November. Now the silence is breaking. This is not a suggestion. It's a command disguised as counsel. He's saying, listen carefully. What you do in these last days of October determines how you'll walk into the next season. This is not the time to force movement. It's the time to follow instructions. Don't explain yourself. Don't chase clarity. Don't reopen what I've already closed. Your spirit already knows what heaven is asking. Obedience without hesitation. The enemy's strategy right now is distraction. Old cycles are calling you back, conversations are resurfacing, and emotions are demanding reaction. But God is saying, stand still, don't engage, protect your energy, I'm about to move. This week isn't about waiting, it's about aligning. There's a door waiting to open, but only your obedience holds the key. The next chapter of your destiny won't begin with noise. It will begin with a single act of trust. So before October ends, finish what I told you to finish, release what I told you to release. And most of all, listen, because this final instruction isn't just closing a month, it's opening a mission. The countdown to November has already started, and heaven is asking you one question. Will you obey before the door opens? Chosen one, October is closing, and heaven is still watching how you move. These last days are not random, they are divine rehearsal, a sacred test of your readiness. All month, you've been walking through subtle alignments, people leaving without warning, sudden urges to isolate, emotional waves rising and fading in the same breath. None of it was accidental. God was teaching you one final posture, obedience in quiet precision. When heaven sends final instruction, it does not come with thunder. It arrives as a whisper. You feel it in your spirit before you hear it in words. It might sound like a nudge, a repeated thought, a conviction that won't leave you alone. That is heaven, trying to finalize your position before the next door opens. What you choose in this moment, whether to trust or to hesitate, will determine how quickly your November unfolds. This final instruction isn't about doing more, it's about doing right. It's about closing the loops that have been draining your energy. That lingering resentment you've carried, it has to be released. That conversation you keep avoiding, it must be surrendered. That small act of obedience you've delayed because you were waiting for confirmation. This is the confirmation. The instruction is simple. Finish what heaven told you to start and stop what heaven told you to release. God is saying, don't end October carrying anything I didn't assign to you. This isn't about punishment, it's about positioning. Heaven can't promote what you refuse to purify. Every distraction, every delay, every repetition of old patterns is testing whether you can hold the frequency of what's next. The chosen don't walk into new seasons by emotion, they enter by alignment. You've been wondering why doors that once felt open suddenly feel heavy. It's because heaven is sealing the old cycle. The month that began with shaking is ending with separation. God is closing conversations, relationships, and habits that no longer match your vibration. And if you try to reopen what he's closing, you'll only delay what he's delivering. This is the moment where silence becomes strategy, where stillness becomes strength. Chosen one, heaven isn't asking you to understand this instruction, just to obey it. The human mind wants logic, but obedience demands trust. Sometimes the step God asks you to take won't make sense until after you take it. You'll look back in November and realize this quiet decision was the turning point that changed everything. The reward for obedience is always clarity, never the other way around. This is your moment of alignment. Heaven is tuning your spirit for the next phase of your mission. You don't need to announce what you're doing. You don't need to justify who you're becoming. Just listen. God's instruction right now is sacred. It's meant for your spirit, not for the crowd. That's why you've been pulled away from noise, from routine, even from people you love. It's not rejection, it's refinement. You're being recalibrated for divine accuracy. So before October ends, move carefully but confidently. Pray before you respond. Pause before you decide. And above all, act when your spirit says now. Because heaven's timing is never random, it's rhythmic. Every second in this final week counts toward what's waiting for you in the next season. You are not behind. You are being positioned. You are not being tested to break. You're being trusted to build. And when the clock strikes the end of October, those who obeyed the quiet instruction will walk into November carrying what others will still be searching for: divine alignment. Heaven is saying, this is your final rehearsal before the revelation. Obey me now, and I will open what no man can shut. Why God waited until now to speak. Chosen one, have you noticed how quiet heaven has been this month? The silence wasn't absence, it was observation. God wasn't ignoring you, he was measuring you, watching how you handled confusion, how you navigated closed doors, how you reacted when you didn't receive answers. He was testing your ability to remain faithful when the voice stopped echoing and only presence remained. Because silence always precedes instruction. Heaven never speaks until your spirit is still enough to listen. The reason God waited until now to speak is simple. You weren't ready to hear this before. Earlier in the month, your heart was still healing. Your emotions were still untangling from old attachments. And your mind was still seeking signs instead of surrender. But now something inside you has shifted. The noise has died down. You no longer crave confirmation, you crave clarity. That's the posture heaven has been waiting for. Stillness without anxiety, obedience without negotiation. God's timing is not late, it's layered. He lets you wrestle with silence, so that when his voice finally comes, it's not just instruction, it's impact. He waited until your spiritual ears were trained by experience, not emotion, until you stopped mistaking movement for progress and started understanding that growth happens in stillness. That's why the final instruction is arriving only now. Because you're finally stable enough to carry it. Think about it. Every great revelation in Scripture came after silence. Before God spoke to Samuel, there were years of quiet. Before Jesus began his ministry, there were decades of waiting. Heaven speaks in whispers, not noise. And the louder your environment, the softer the voice. That's why this month felt heavy with nothingness. The silence wasn't empty, it was sacred calibration. God was fine-tuning your frequency so his next word would land instead of pass through. You've matured, chosen one. You no longer chase emotional highs to feel God's presence. You've learned to recognize him in still air, in quiet mornings, in divine pauses. That's why you've been feeling that subtle anticipation lately. The sense that something invisible is about to shift. It's because heaven is finally releasing what it withheld until your spirit was strong enough to receive it without distortion. The instruction that's coming now isn't for your comfort, it's for your calling. It's not meant to soothe you, it's meant to send you. That's why God was silent for so long. He was making sure that when he spoke again, you would obey without hesitation. Heaven doesn't waste words on unprepared hearts. You've been purified through patience, strengthened through stillness, and positioned through pain. And now, the silence is over. God speaks last when he intends to speak loudest. Every unanswered prayer this month was a redirection. Every delay was protection. Every closed door was timing, disguised as denial. Chosen one, the instruction coming to you now will not be complicated, but it will be crucial. Don't overlook it, because it sounds simple. Heaven's greatest commands rarely sound grand. Build the ark. Leave your land. Be still. Those aren't suggestions. They're strategies. Obedience to small commands always unlocks large callings. So listen carefully. God waited until now because now your faith no longer trembles, it trusts. Your spirit is ready. Your discernment is refined. Your silence has prepared the soil, and now heaven is planting direction. You didn't miss the message, you were being molded to carry it. And in this final week of October, what once felt like divine distance will suddenly feel like divine download. Because the waiting was never wasted. It was the witness that proved your readiness. And now, heaven speaks. Chosen one. This final week of October is not just another ending. It's a reset, coded in the spirit. You can feel it, can't you? The air's heavier, time feels slower, your emotions are quieter, yet your intuition is louder than ever. That's because heaven is cleansing the atmosphere around you, recalibrating your mind, your habits, and even your energy field to prepare you for what's coming. The old cycle can't follow you into November. That's why everything around you feels like it's shutting down, conversations fading, plans dissolving, desires shifting. The reset has already begun. This is not punishment, it's purification. When heaven resets you, it removes everything that could distort the next instruction. God doesn't bless confusion, he clears it. That's why some things that used to bring comfort now feel uncomfortable. Why certain people you once leaned on now feel distant. You're not being abandoned, you're being realigned. Heaven is unplugging you from what drains you so it can reconnect you to what sustains you. The spiritual reset of this final week is subtle but supernatural. It's happening in silence, in the moments when you choose peace over reaction, prayer over panic, solitude over noise. You've noticed it. The sudden fatigue, the need to withdraw, the lack of interest in what once mattered. That's not burnout, it's rebirth. You're being emptied, so heaven can refill you correctly. God cannot pour new oil into containers still holding old residue. This is why he slowed you down, so he could clean you out. Chosen one, the divine reset always begins with release. Before God restores, He reorders. Before He accelerates, He aligns. You might be tempted to push forward, to force results before the month ends, but don't. This is not the week for rushing. It's the week for resetting. If you try to move while heaven is recalibrating, you'll only carry old energy into a new assignment. Let the reset do its work. This is the moment to recenter your spirit. Turn off the noise. Step back from distractions. Spend time in silence and solitude, not as escape, but as preparation. Heaven doesn't reset you to make you smaller. It resets you to make you stable. The chaos you feel isn't proof of disfavor. It's proof of construction. God is rebuilding your foundation under pressure so that when November comes, you'll stand firm no matter what shakes. You're not being delayed, you're being designed. The tension, the quiet, the strange emptiness you feel are all part of heaven's spiritual software update. When your life slows down suddenly, it's because your spirit is downloading new instructions. That's why your discernment has been heightened lately. You're sensing things before they happen, feeling those shifts before they're visible. It's because you've entered spiritual synchronization. Your timeline is catching up to heaven's rhythm. In this final week, choose alignment over activity. Don't force doors, don't chase answers, don't cling to comfort. Just breathe, rest, and let God reposition you. You can't reset while holding resistance. You must release control for the reset to complete. God is saying, I'm not resetting your life to punish you, I'm resetting it to preserve you. I'm breaking your pace to match my timing. Everything that's leaving your life right now is making room for something built to last. The reset is not loss, it's layout. Heaven is re-architecting your path, clearing debris so your next steps are clean. Chosen one, let this week be sacred. Finish October empty of everything that doesn't reflect who you're becoming. You're not losing momentum, you're gaining accuracy. And when the reset is complete, you'll wake up one morning in November with clarity, calm, and confirmation, knowing that the silence you survived was actually God upgrading your system from within. This is your spiritual reboot. The reset isn't coming, it's already here. Let heaven finish what it started. Chosen one, as the final days of October unfold, pay close attention, because the closer you get to breakthrough, the louder the distractions become. This is not coincidence. It's spiritual warfare disguised as convenience. Heaven is preparing to shift you forward, and the enemy is desperate to pull your attention sideways. Every small irritation, every emotional trigger, every unexpected delay right now is not random. It's a test of focus. The distractions of this season don't come as chaos. They come as comfort. They wear familiar faces, familiar memories, familiar habits, things that once felt safe, but are now designed to slow you down. The enemy doesn't need to destroy you if he can distract you. Because distraction for a chosen one is disconnection from divine timing. One moment of emotional reaction can cause you to miss what heaven is whispering. You may have noticed it already, the sudden text from someone you've already healed from. The opportunity that seems tempting but feels off in your spirit. The exhaustion that makes you want to quit early. These are not coincidences. The spiritual world has noticed your focus, your fasting, your faithfulness, and now it's trying to reroute your attention. You are being watched, not by people, but by heaven and by darkness, to see what you do when distraction knocks softly instead of loudly. God has one word for you this week: discipline. He is saying, don't respond emotionally, don't explain spiritually, just remain still. Your stillness is not weakness, it's strategy. Every distraction you ignore right now adds strength to your discernment. Heaven is testing whether your focus is mature enough to carry what's next. Because the next level of assignment doesn't come with fewer distractions. It comes with greater ones disguised as opportunities. Chosen one, understand this. Distraction is always most dangerous when it feels justified. The enemy will use exhaustion to whisper compromise. Will use nostalgia to reopen cycles. Will use loneliness to tempt reaction. That's why God is telling you to guard your energy like gold. Every moment you protect your peace, you increase your power. This final week isn't about activity, it's about awareness. Heaven is showing you how to master the art of holy indifference, learning not to engage every invitation, not to attend every argument, not to reply to every message. Silence in this season is sacred armor. Don't explain your absence, don't defend your boundaries. Let obedience speak louder than presence. You've already proven your strength in storms. Now God is asking you to prove your strength in stillness. The enemy's goal isn't to break your body, it's to blur your mind. He wants you anxious, reactive, uncertain. But you've matured beyond manipulation. You can feel the difference now between divine urgency and demonic rush. You can sense when something isn't flowing, but forcing. That awareness is your weapon. Remember, distraction is always a counterfeit of direction. When God is silent, the enemy speaks the loudest. That's why you must remain still enough to know the difference between interference and instruction. You are not missing opportunities. You are mastering patience. You are not being delayed. You are being discerned. Heaven watches how you handle the distraction before it releases the direction. So this week, if something feels urgent, pause. If someone reappears with promises, pray. If your emotions spike suddenly, breathe. Don't be pulled into the noise. The noise is the test. You are being trained to move from impulse to intention, from reaction to revelation. Chosen one, stay locked in. Every distraction you ignore this week is a declaration of faith, a message to heaven that you trust divine timing more than temporary comfort. You're almost at the door. Don't look sideways now. God is saying, if you keep your eyes on me, and in this final stretch, I'll open what they tried to distract you from. Let the noise pass. Stay centered. Your focus is your final weapon before the breakthrough. Chosen one. This final stretch before October closes is not about force, it's about flow. You're in a divine transition, standing at the edge of an invisible doorway. Heaven has already prepared what's on the other side, but the key that unlocks it isn't talent, effort, or emotion. It's obedience. Every great shift in your destiny begins with a single, quiet act of faith that no one sees. And right now, God isn't asking you to understand the instruction. He's asking you to honor it. Transitions are sacred because they test whether you truly trust the unseen. You've prayed for elevation, but elevation always requires execution. Heaven gives revelation, but it's obedience that activates it. The command might sound small. Apologize. Delete that number. Finish that task. Forgive that person. Let something go. But don't underestimate divine simplicity. What seems small to you often moves mountains in the spirit realm. God hides power in the ordinary. Chosen one, obedience is the highest form of worship. It says, God, even when I don't see the reason, I still trust your rhythm. This week, your obedience carries more weight than your prayers. You've already asked. Heaven is waiting for you to act. The delay isn't in God's hand. It's in your hesitation. Every time you align without needing validation, the heavens shift in your favor. Think about this. Noah obeyed before it rained. Abraham obeyed before he knew the destination. Mary obeyed before understanding the cost. The chosen always move by revelation, not reassurance. That's why obedience feels lonely. It's a language few understand. But every time you obey in silence, you prove that your faith no longer depends on applause. You're in the in-between, no longer who you were, not yet where you're going. That space between chapters is where obedience shapes identity. God isn't asking for perfection, He's asking for precision. When He says, go, move. When He says, wait, rest. When He says, release, don't argue. Because heaven's next blessing will not come through striving. It will come through synchronization. The transition you're in right now is sensitive. One wrong partnership, one emotional decision, one moment of resistance can slow what's already unfolding. That's why heaven is asking you to move lightly, to listen deeply, to trust completely. Obedience doesn't always feel good. It often feels like loss. But the pain of obedience is always temporary. The reward is eternal. God is saying, this week, I'm testing your response time. Can I trust you to act when I whisper, not when I shout? You've proven faith in waiting. Now, prove faith in walking. When your obedience becomes immediate, your manifestation becomes inevitable. Understand this, chosen one. Every instruction you follow plants a seed in the unseen. When you obey quietly, angels move quickly. When you delay, heaven pauses. The universe responds to spiritual accuracy, not intensity. So move in rhythm. Flow with the Spirit. You don't need to know where the path leads, you just need to take the next faithful step. In this transition, obedience is your compass. It may not make sense today, but soon everything will align so perfectly that you'll realize why heaven told you to act now. You are not walking in circles anymore. You're walking in synchronization. You are not being tested to see if you'll fail. You're being trusted to see if you're ready. The obedience you choose this week will echo through November. It will open doors that strategy never could. It will place you exactly where grace has been waiting. Chosen one, your obedience is not just proof of faith, it's prophecy in motion. Follow it and watch heaven unfold what waiting could never deliver. How heaven confirms you're ready. Chosen one. Do you know how heaven confirms your readiness? Not with applause, not with blessings, not even with signs, but with silence that no longer scares you. The evidence that you're ready isn't external, it's internal. You've stopped panicking when doors close. You've stopped begging for what left. You've stopped questioning every delay. That peace you feel in uncertainty is proof that your spirit has matured beyond needing constant reassurance. That's heaven's confirmation. You've grown into alignment. When you first began this journey, you needed confirmation for every step. A dream, a number, a prophecy, a sign in the sky. Now, God doesn't need to keep proving Himself to you. because you've learned to recognize his rhythm. That's growth. Heaven confirms readiness not by removing challenges, but by giving you calm in the middle of them. The storm didn't change, you did. The divine always tests before it trusts. Heaven has been observing how you respond when nothing makes sense, how you react when the answer is delayed, how you behave when no one is watching. Every time you chose faith over fear, peace over panic, prayer over frustration, you were passing unseen exams. And now heaven is signing the approval you can't yet see. You are ready because you stopped needing to control outcomes. You've learned to walk by intuition, not impulse. You no longer chase alignment, you embody it. Heaven measures readiness by stability, how anchored your spirit remains when everything external shifts. That's why God isolated you, slowed your pace, and refined your focus this month, to prove that your obedience doesn't depend on outcome. Look at your recent days. You've been feeling a strange calm, haven't you? A soft confidence that doesn't come from knowing what's next, but from trusting who's next. That peace is a prophetic signature. It means heaven has checked your foundation and found it secure enough to build upon. You're not being overlooked. You're being approved. Quietly, privately, divinely. Heaven's confirmation rarely comes through fireworks. It comes through fruit. When your thoughts grow gentler, when your boundaries strengthen, when your heart forgives faster. That's confirmation. The world celebrates visibility. Heaven celebrates consistency. Readiness is proven in restraint. The ability to stay steady, even when your emotions demand movement. Chosen one, notice how your reactions have changed. What once triggered you now teaches you. What once broke you now builds you. That's not personality. That's preparation. Heaven has rewired your nervous system to hold more light without breaking. You can now carry revelation without leaking energy, correction without collapsing, delay without doubt. That is divine maturity, the highest form of confirmation. You've been asking for a sign, but you are the sign. Your peace is proof. Your focus is proof. Your healed heart is proof. Heaven doesn't need to speak louder when your spirit already understands the language of stillness. That's why, lately, everything external has gone quiet. Because internal confirmation has already occurred. Understand this. Heaven never announces readiness to the crowd. It whispers it to the called. God doesn't tell people you're ready. He tells circumstances. You'll notice it soon. Resistance will start turning into recognition, delay into direction, silence into strategy. Things will begin to align around you effortlessly, not because the battle ended, but because your vibration changed. You are now trusted with timing. Heaven can release what it once withheld because you won't sabotage it this time. You won't move prematurely. You won't mismanage blessings. You won't confuse momentum with mission. You've proven you can carry weight without complaint. Chosen one, readiness isn't about perfection. It's about posture. And heaven sees yours. Steady, humble, surrendered. So don't chase confirmation anymore. Walk in it. The universe already knows who you are. And now, heaven does too. You've passed the test. The door is ready. And so are you. What happens the moment you obey, chosen one? When you finally obey, heaven doesn't hesitate, it activates. The moment your spirit aligns with God's instruction, the unseen begins to move with divine precision. You may not see fireworks, but the entire spiritual system around your life shifts in silence. Obedience is the code that unlocks acceleration. The instant you stop wrestling with doubt and simply say, "Yes, Lord," angels receive permission to proceed. You've spent months wondering when things will change. The truth is, heaven was waiting on you. Obedience is not passive submission, it's a key. It doesn't only open doors, it changes dimensions. The moment you obey, you step out of delay and into divine timing. The atmosphere responds to obedience faster than to any prayer. Because prayer invites heaven's will, obedience releases it. Chosen one, every instruction you've ignored stayed suspended in the spirit until your yes caught up. That's why life felt stuck at times. Not because God was withholding blessings, but because your hesitation paused the flow. But the moment you act, the current returns. Heaven doesn't need your perfection, it needs your participation. When you obey, something supernatural happens. Resistance loses relevance. The enemy can no longer argue against your destiny because your obedience becomes your protection. You move from warfare to witness, from questioning to confirmation. Doors that refuse to open before suddenly unlock without force. Favor that seemed delayed appears as if it was waiting for your courage to match your calling. You've noticed it before, how peace follows obedience. The anxiety that once screamed inside you goes quiet. That's because the Spirit recognizes truth when it's lived, not just spoken. The moment you obey, your inner world aligns with heaven's vibration. Your heart stops striving. Your body relaxes. Your path begins to clear. That peace isn't random. It's divine feedback. Heaven is saying, "You did it. Now watch what happens." There's always a divine sequence. First comes instruction, then hesitation, then obedience, and immediately after, release. Sometimes the reward doesn't show up as a miracle, but as momentum. Things start to move again. Energy flows again. Suddenly, opportunities resurface, ideas reignite, people reappear who were meant to walk with you. Obedience calls what was waiting back into orbit. You realign the system around your destiny every time you act in faith. Understand this: when you obey, heaven doesn't just bless you, it trusts you. Every act of obedience tells God, "You can use me even when I don't understand you." And trust is heaven's greatest currency. The chosen aren't blessed because they're perfect. They're blessed because they're positioned. You are in that position now. The very moment you say yes to what God whispered, timelines accelerate. The delay breaks. The drought ends. The atmosphere rearranges itself to accommodate obedience. It's as if the universe exhales, releasing everything it was holding until your spirit came into alignment. Chosen one, don't underestimate the quiet act of obedience. It's the trigger for everything you've been praying for. When you obey, the invisible becomes visible. What was blocked begins to bloom, and you realize it was never about how fast you moved. It was about how fully you trusted. The moment you obey, destiny stops waiting and starts walking beside you. Peace returns. provision follows, purpose unfolds, because in that moment, heaven's plan and your will finally meet. So act now. Do the thing you've been delaying. Say the words you've been holding back. Release what you've been gripping too tightly. Heaven's next move depends on this one, your yes. And when you give it, everything changes. Chosen one, the moment has arrived. You've walked through silence, endured refining, passed every test of patience, obedience, and focus, and now the spiritual gates are shifting. October's energy is closing, and with it, every cycle that kept you repeating old lessons. This is the threshold moment. Heaven has been preparing you not just to enter November, but to embody it. What's about to open isn't just a door. It's a dimension of destiny that only obedience could unlock. As the old month fades, so do the vibrations that fed your former self. The people, habits, fears, and emotions that once defined you can no longer follow where you're going. You've shed too much, learned too deeply, evolved too quietly to fit inside of those smaller versions of you. Heaven has been sculpting your identity, shaping your frequency until it matched the vibration of your promise. And now alignment and timing have met, the sign that the new season has truly begun. The door to November will not open with noise, it will open with knowing. It's that calm realization that what once drained you no longer moves you. It's the peace that whispers, "I'm ready." Heaven's doors never swing on emotion. They turn on alignment. And right now, your energy field carries the signature of divine readiness. You don't have to chase what's next. You'll attract it naturally, because your spirit and God's plan are now operating on the same frequency. Chosen one, feel this truth deeply. October was the month of refining. November is the month of revealing. The hidden things are about to surface. What was delayed will accelerate. What was silent will suddenly speak. The final instruction wasn't to limit you. It was to prepare your vessel for overflow. You're not stepping into another routine month. You're stepping into a prophetic release written before time began. You've learned to follow whispers instead of crowds, to walk by faith instead of forecasts. That's why this door opens for you and not for everyone. It's not favoritism. It's faithfulness. God can only trust new levels to those who proved they could handle the weight of waiting. You did. Your patience became prophecy. Your surrender became signal. Your silence became song. Heaven heard it all. Now, as the clock turns and October exhales its final breath, listen closely. You'll feel the shift, not in the world around you, but in the rhythm within you. The anxiety will ease, the confusion will clear, the sense of something's coming will transform into "this is it." The promise isn't ahead of you anymore, it's here. God is saying, you have passed the test of silence, the test of separation, the test of obedience. Now walk through what I have opened. Don't hesitate, don't look back, don't question the timing. You are standing in it. The final revelation is this: heaven never rushes what it intends to last forever. The wait was not punishment, it was preservation. The silence was not delay, it was design. And now the movement you've been praying for will begin, not in chaos, but in clarity. Chosen one, step forward lightly, speak gently, and move with purpose. October was the cleansing. November will be the crowning. You're not walking into a new month. You're walking into a new mission. The door is open. Your name has been called, and heaven is waiting on one thing only: your first step.